Aloha Kohala. It is 3 o'clock here on June 7th, 2023, and you're listening to KNKRLP 96.1 FM Kohala, and we're live here. We are live, me and Michál. We are here for Intuitive Talk Story. We're charged and ready to go and see what the universe wants us to talk about today.
Oh, yes. I'm here, Michal here, and with Miss Eila, and she's just returned from her adventures on the mainland. So she's full of a lot of gratitude to be home in Hawaii, to be back here on the big island of Hawaii. And I am grateful as well, just because I'm grateful.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful day. I just came from some session work and zipped over here. And I'm feeling really charged up because I've been in the ethers for a few hours. So definitely feeling enlivened. And Eila was asking me what's alive today. And she was talking about some things that came up in her trip and people and reactions and all sorts of things. So kind of a theme we thought today is kind of taking nothing personal and getting ourselves into balance. And what does that mean? So a little bit kind of to start is that we're really all having this grand opportunity to come into this really juicy, divine, herogamic union, harmonic balance of our masculine and feminine energies in the upright position. What does that mean?
Yeah, what do you mean by
What
upright?
does that mean?
Yeah.
So if you think about the past few thousand years, we have some great examples of the inverted position, which would be the masculine side. It looks like the tyrannical king.
A lot of war.
Tyranny, destruction,
Yeah.
Control, pushing down upon hierarchy.
Right.
All these kind
Yeah.
of, those are these inverted qualities of masculine energy. On the feminine side, that kind of turned into the Baphomet, the slut,
You mean the negative, like the witch?
the negative aspects.
like making-
it turned
making
it into, so
things.
instead of becoming, we had the story of Eve, the most sinful woman there is.
You're right.
She's
Yeah.
a slut. She deserves to be. No. But I mean, if you look
Right,
back,
but that's how we get started.
That's how we got
So
started.
many
on
of
that.
us,
A
right.
lot of that, right?
Right.
And it comes from stories. Not to say there isn't truth of the golden thread within the Bible, because there most definitely is. The golden thread of wisdom and knowledge from those that
Right.
have brought us knowledge. But some of these things have been inverted, which is hence why we have been inverted. We have to just go with, just to open your mind. If you're like, I don't know what she's talking about. Who's
Well,
this girl?
you don't really need to know.
But let's put it
Let's
this way.
go to today.
Well, also, I'm going to say this. If we, as a humanity, had our religious texts fully intact with all the exact teachings to come to God in fullness, do you not think that you would see more people around you in the fullness of God experiencing that reality, right? If it was given, it's more like you have to
In the
know,
pure
and
form, right.
those that have studied know that because they know that, they read the text, and though you had to look for the golden thread, you had to find the lesson, the moral, that which brought you to a deeper understanding of what's being given. If you took it at face value, or literally, you may be very well mistaken, right? So we have to go beyond sometimes what's given to us at face value and look to see what metaphor, what fable, what lesson, what is it? What is it giving us? It's a parable, right? The Bible is really a bunch of parables, stories to help us understand greater lessons.
And stories are a great way to learn, I think. You know, I learn more from someone telling me a story and then maybe follow up with what the story's about than just trying to feed me knowledge or trying to get a point across.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what our point of stories is, so we can learn. In fact, all of this is a story. And it's really God enjoying itself, having a number of stories.
A lot of movies going on.
A lot of movies experiencing God. God experiencing God, right? Is what all this is. A series of stories. All of us are in a series of stories. We're all having different actor and actress experiences, because you are not just, I do massage and do energy work. That's not just what I am. I could have been a this or a that or a this. You're not just a doctor. You could be a plumber. It is not about what you are. You're many things.
It doesn't matter what you do.
It's kind of like you chose it just for this time,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
It's like you
And
could
for
be
certain
anything.
experiences.
For fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be fun. Never done that one. Let's do
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
So if we kind of go with this setup, back to our masculine feminine, we have had this kind of inset of this negative feminine aspect that set in from many different stories. And that kind of looked like, you can just see if we go back to some real obvious ones, the masculine energy ruled, the women are enslaved, they're the ones, they do all the cooking, the cleaning, they make everything happen.
They don't own anything.
They don't own anything. The men control everything,
Right.
and they call all the shots, and they live under that thumb. So that's a real great example of the inversion right there. And the woman is not seen as the upright divine feminine who is the like knowledgeable woman, but is instead seen as the Baphomet. So what we're doing now is, and we have been for obviously quite a while, but many people have paved the way and have been really embodying these energies for a long time, so we can be here right now where it's so available for all of us. It's available now, that Holy Mother energy we've spoken about before, the feminine energy being really reseated into our earth grid, the availability for us to come into union within the self and then with others as well, right? So first and foremost, this whole thing is just about coming into divine union within us. It's really not about a partnership. If you are in a partnership, great, then you have an opportunity to do that with another. If you're not, that's great too, because really ultimately it's just about ourselves. So we get to come into divine union here. So setting this thing up right means releasing all of the negative input or programming, which was pretty much set in by our wounding. So we've talked about this a lot, but wounding and programming. So these things are wounds set in programs. So when we don't feel good, or I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, then a program sets in like that follows with that. And then we start experiencing that program. We either strengthen it with continuing to give thought to that negative program, or we begin working on healing it, right? And catching it and changing it. So that kind of gives us a little foundation. And
so as you're talking about all these different things, especially the masculine, feminine, I watched a show the other day. And this is, for those of us who acknowledge it, this is considered Pride Month. Pride Month is about honoring the gay people, the lesbian people, the people who transgender, the people who identify in these other ways. And one of the things I was looking at was somebody who, a person who was born male was on this show, and he was talking about how he has a lot of feminine energy. And he likes to present, and he likes to kind of cross boundaries, and how he's been, and so many people who do this, who feel this way about themselves, are oppressed. They're treated badly in our society. And it's come up a lot in the past, I want to say, 15 years. I've just seen so much of this where it's like the society, we're going through a growing spurt to honor all people, however you feel you are in this world. If you want to be, it's just that the typical very male, very female. It's like, no, we have all of these other genders and ways of expression. Let's not get caught into these ruts. So when we talk about balancing masculine and feminine, it doesn't matter what you are in this lifetime. We all carry those different traits.
Yeah, so I want to speak a little to that, what you're saying. Yes, we are all masculine and feminine. So I'm in a woman's body. I'm a woman's body, but I am very masculine. I have a lot of masculine energy and a lot of feminine energy, because guess what? We all do.
We all do.
Yay!
Yeah.
We all do. So this also means that we don't necessarily have to be a different gender necessarily either, just because we all do. So there's two things. I mean, this gender thing is kind of a big thing going on right now out there. I don't want to get too much into this talk.
No.
It definitely gets kind of out there. But I think there's a lot of programming trying to push people also in ways that aren't necessarily good. So I think what we should do is listen to ourselves. And part of the problem is everyone's listening to everyone out there. So it doesn't matter what they think.
Yes.
So that's probably the first step is, I don't really care what you think of me is none of my business.
Right, and that
and if we all did that
steps into truth,
and
honoring your
if we all
truth.
did that, it wouldn't matter. I don't need Joe to hold a flag or have a day for me. I just have a day for me. It doesn't matter what Joe thinks. And that's kind of, if we did that, all those other external problems would kind of go away if we focused on changing the problems within ourselves. So if we realized our own unity and our own access to masculine, feminine, and got in touch with that, then we wouldn't be so confused, because we would understand I'm a masculine, divine, feminine being. I have both parts of that. And I can decide however I want to do that. No problem.
Yeah.
I get to choose. Great. We're all empowered. Cool. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
And now
you do you,
have your
I do me.
experience,
Right.
and I'm going to have mine.
Yeah.
And with the knowingness that we are all divine, masculine, feminine beings, period. That's the baseline. Here we are. Whatever experience you want to have with that, great. But let's not, I don't want to influence yours or you influence mine. And it's really not about what I call you. He, he, she, whatever. It's not really about that, because what I think of you is really none of your business. Just do your thing.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't get it. Maybe I don't understand. Maybe I will never understand. Maybe that guy over there is never going to understand. Does that going to matter to you? No. You don't have to let that influence your journey. And that's part of the thing, is we've gotten so stuck on what everyone's doing out there. Well, so-and-so does this and so-and-so does that. Who cares? Do you. Worry about yourself. Like that little video. Did you see that one? It was years ago, but it was this little girl in the back seat. She's like trying to put on her, she's like 1 and 2 or something. And the dad's in the front. She's trying to put her seatbelt on. He just reaches back there. She goes, no. She goes, I got it. And she's trying to do it again. And then he starts to try to help her again. She goes, you drive. Worry about yourself.
Yes, I remember that.
Worry about yourself. Drive. You're driving the car. You're not back here putting on the seatbelt. I got it. Give me a break. I'll get it when I get it.
Right.
I don't need your help.
Right.
I'm going to figure it out when I figure it out. We don't need to be so helpful to one another in that way. Instead, we could just honor
is
your
really,
experience,
really important.
which means it's none of my business.
Yeah,
If I really honor
honor
your experience, then I go, you know what, Eila, I don't really need to understand anything about what you're experiencing. I just honor it. And whether I get it or not, I'm glad you're having it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the honoring is the big thing. And one of the things I think I wrote to you today was about honoring your truth, that in order to truly honor your truth, you cannot, and this comes from a people pleaser, past people pleaser, you cannot be concerned about how other reacts, responds. It's so, and in being in that place of honoring your truth and letting go and saying, you know what, I just need to honor me. I just need to honor me in this moment, just moment to moment. It's so liberating.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So what's so cool here is that, see, Eila is a former people pleaser and I'm a total truth person. So my task has been learning to deliver truth with a little more grace and ease.
Right, grace and kindness.
And yours has been to deliver the truth.
To really be in the truth.
Grace and ease.
Not just be graceful and kind and forget about who am I.
Right.
In that to take care of other.
And that gives you a really great idea of why our synergy is so great.
Yes. Yeah.
We're like, we got all the we bounce from each other.
Yeah, well, I think when somebody said to me, you choose people who are not easy to interact with sometimes. And I'm like, of course. Why just hang out with a bunch of people who think like I think or move through the world like I do? I'm much more interested to find out, boy, Michál, she's got this kind of energy and she's like this and that and the other thing. And I'm curious about that because I don't live that way.
Right.
So how can I learn from you something that I could now take into my life that's going to help my life?
And that's also about growing. It means you want to grow, because when we're around, I too have put myself around all kinds of different people that aren't like me. Because I want to grow. And if anything comes up, if like, hi out there, I know actually my reflection hits a lot of you out there. I actually hear about it. So anyway, I'm sorry. I love you. I love you. Even if you're like, oh, that girl pisses me off. I love you. And I want to say to you, whatever reflection's hitting you, it's still in you. You might not even know me. You've probably never even had a conversation with me. And if you have, it might have been a real quick one. And there's reasons for everything. I, too, have bad days and have gone through a lot of things. So I had a lot of moments where I was definitely in the dire.
Yeah, and we all have. We've all had our moments.
And we got to forgive each other.
Yeah.
So I ask forgiveness of all of you out there if that's with me. But the intensity also comes from being driven to want to grow. I'm driven to learn my lessons and to be in my truth.
Yeah.
So I am driven to be in my truth, and sometimes I haven't delivered that nicely, or it's been sloppy for myself.
Right.
But I've gotten to learn, and am learning all the time, and I get to learn from you all the time, and to reflect on that more graciousness. And I give thanks for the ability to know that we get to grow into whatever we want to be, that we're not confined to one thing, and that we get to widen the gap. Because whatever I see in someone else in front of me that still bothers me is me.
Yeah.
And if it's still bothering me, then I want to get to it. And the only way I'm going to see it is if I have a reflection. So if I put a bunch of different people around me, and I get to see
You're going to see different things.
Well, anything hits you.
Yeah.
Do you feel it? Like we talked about that one day, someone in your shop, like they were trying to frustrate you, or you were trying to feel. So that's like, thank you for that. That's showing me where I still have some annoyance somewhere that I need to find out where that really is. It's not this guy. I don't even know this guy.
Right.
It's something else. Let me go figure out what it is. Thanks for bringing it up, dude.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get it.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
So it's an opportunity, which is the difference of how we perceive our reality. If we choose to see everything and everyone as an infinite child of God, we're all pieces of God. So even the people you don't like are God. They're pieces of the infinite. They're children of the infinite. So if you can see that and come into harmony, then you get to kind of experience more peace. A
lot more peace, because you're not trying to change anybody, right?
The first lesson out of the gate for me, I was just and those of you who any old timers here in Kohala, I came here when I was 23, 1998, and I was told to come here in meditation from the other side of the island. And I got here, I had a friend bring me here, and he introduced me to Robin. Some of you may remember Robin, who had an amazing gallery, and she is an eclectic being. And anyway, she said to me that day, I'm 23 years old. She said, so you want to open up a burrito bar? And I said, yeah, that's what I'm doing here. And I literally opened a Mexican restaurant 5 months later with her. Now, this was the beginning for me of Spiritual Lessons 101, which I clearly heard in my journey at that time, because I had massive pivotal moments in that 1998 that were huge openings spiritually. It was a massive time.
Me too.
It was the harmonic convergence. A lot of people actually did. 98 was a huge wave. 89 was also. I was on that 98 wave. Anyway, then it brought me here. I was led here spiritually. People told me to come here. Anyway, Spirit told me. So to get to that part of trying to tell you, Robin, if you remember her, she was a pretty big energy too. She was a daughter of a porn star, New York Jew, Italian, and she's
very, very blunt, I imagine.
Very. And anyway, she was my business partner. Like, seriously, that was who I was led to. And I was like, oh my gosh, like here I am at the time, 23, dreadlocks down my back, wearing turbans and, pumping reggae out of this little flat little burrito bar. And, carrying a little red wagon behind me that my boyfriend at the time made. So it's like hilarious stuff. So, but I heard clearly from Spirit, like, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I could do this. Oh yeah, you'll be done. You'll be able to get at us as soon as you love her. What? Yeah, as soon as you love her, you'll be done. Excuse me? Yeah, so I did. It took me about a year.
Yeah.
And I did. And I was set free, literally. Everything open. The right situation came forward.
Right.
She ended up taking that restaurant. Then it went to a beautiful family here in town whom I love. And I got to pray with them in our kitchen and hand it over spiritually. And it was just such a blessing. And I felt like that's really why I did it, was for them. And it was just the vehicle. Anyway, and it was lessons for me. So see, nothing is just what it seems. I could perceive, oh yeah, I started a restaurant and then I didn't have it long and then somebody else had it. That could be my story. Or it could have all this richness, which it really does, because I was paying attention to the richness and learning the lessons that God was telling me. Spirit was sharing with me, like, here you are. And had I known then, actually, that the only lesson you really need to know is love it. Love the people around you, no matter who they are, what they're doing, your neighbor, your friend, the person you think you hate. When you can love them all, you choose to love yourself, and that is the whole game. Well,
there you go. Yeah. Well, I was just in an environment with people I haven't seen in a really long time, and people that, we didn't have the best parting back in the day, and it has its moments. It takes, for me, it took a lot of energy to be in that environment there was something about it that I don't know anybody else out there could probably relate if you've ever interacted with an ex where you didn't have a great breakup and maybe we never got to the point of peace, and it felt like it took a lot of energy for me to be in that presence and be pleasant and nice and graceful and friendly. And then later I was with my little grandson. He had a meltdown after this was his birthday party. He had a meltdown. About an hour later, I had a meltdown. And then everything was okay. So, it's not always easy, but I would not have that experience because it would be easier to not go at all. It's like, well, I just won't go, and then I won't have to face that and feel that. And, it's okay. I can take it. It's there to teach me something.
And I want to ask you then with that's a great example. When you had that experience and feeling like, oh, it's hard to be kind, be nice, did you then take it and go inside and look and go, why? Like, what is it really hitting that's making me still feel the angst? Because there is you can get to complete zero, or even they might not have peace or may not have done any work about it, but you could get to zero.
Absolutely.
And have peace about it.
Yeah.
So whatever it's still hitting that made it hard for you to be nice is what you want to examine, so you can go, hey, let's get that to surrender to zero. I find for myself, a lot of that is, it's like the game's so funny because it is all about surrendering too. It's surrendering everything, not of my will, but of divine will. Because, we think we're so important, and that's the whole service to self. That's the whole separation in the first place, is our deep desire of self. Well, it's me, and I want, and I want.
Yeah.
And so that's all that, right? So we go even to that fine little layer of, well, I want closure. Well, if you'd only understand. Well, if they would just do this, then I'd feel this. Well, if this just happened, then I could feel at ease. We want something for us to do something. So you go to that fine tune of, what am I still wanting? What is it I'm still looking from outside of me? Right, I get to give that up too. Ha ha, no, I don't get to get the hug or the pat on the back. That's right, give thanks and praise. I just get to get it from source, and I get to surrender any desire or wantingness or attachment to anything else. Because that's really what I'm doing, right, is getting into zero. So I can hold my place of neutrality and my foundation of love and stay unattached and amused. So it gives us to taking nothing personal, which is part of how we get into that balance, is we have to be able to hold our emotional state, not take things personal, and get to zero at all times. If I can take you somewhere still and pull you out of your love and zero, oh, I win, right? So that's like an example of like, see, it took you over. Oh, got taken over here, and I wasn't in zero. Shit. What's still getting me out of zero? Darn. I'm going to look at that one. I'm going to get it, and I'm going to solve it. That's how I see it. I attack everything like it's an interesting problem. Like, ooh, thanks for showing me where that is. Oh, let's go paint it. Let's sand it. Let's get it. I'm going to get in there. You got a knot there? Let's get it. See, I love that.
Yeah. Well, you love that.
I do.
Yeah. Well,
I do.
I'm just reflecting on what was it that really bothered me. It wasn't about his behavior. It was really about my trying to be something that wasn't true for me. Like I wanted to be the harmonious one, so I reach out and I'd be friendly. He was fine. He was how like he always has been. And nothing different, not nasty, not anything, just fine. So what was it that wasn't resonating for me? It was me and how I was approaching it. I was trying too hard.
Aha.
The part of the people pleaser.
There you go.
He wasn't asking me to be nice to him or do anything.
No.
He's in his
He's
own
just
reality.
the character in your movie.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. So for me, it's more like, you don't have to behave that way. Like I feel like I maybe was a traitor to myself a little bit.
So you get to see, because you're really working your truth meter and really owning, getting into your truth. So you're seeing it and go, hey, you know what? I don't have to. So I can actually be in my truth. If I want to give him a cup, I can give him. If I don't, he can get his own cup. It's not my gig. It's not my kuleana. It doesn't mean I'm doing anything here or there.
Yeah.
I just get to be in my feeling. If I feel like it, here, Eila, you want something? Great. If I don't feel like handing that to you, I don't.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to do what I feel.
Yeah.
So that's a revelation, and that's beautiful. See, that's the place. So now you take that morsel and you're like, right, I get to stand in my truth. And in being in my truth, it sets me free. And I therefore give everyone else the opportunity around me to be in their truth too.
Right.
And now I've just felt that, and you get to heal it. And if there's any peace with your inner self, you kind of go, right, let's pick up any, okay, let me feel good in my third chakra, in my heart. And might just kind of rush that through your whole body, that energy of being in my truth. Now you've just done some real work with that piece too, that shifts it into your awareness. Now you understand it more. And now the next time you're going to be met with something similar, you already know, oh, this is going to be one of those things. I'm going to get to practice being in my truth. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. And without trying to do anything, trying, like the whole trying thing. And I, honestly, when I was with him and my daughter was there, right, I lived a particular way.
Sure.
I don't live like that anymore. But yet this is what happens when people go back with their family, right? You start seeing the patterns, and it's like, I wanted it all to be nice for her, so let me be nice to him. And I don't have to think about all that. These are all grown-ups. It's not my job. So, yeah.
Excellent.
And some of you out there may be able to relate to that.
For sure. We all have families. In fact, it's all like that. Like, it's all the time for everyone, with people you knew in the past, their family. It's why it's
old
hardest
friends.
to go back to your family. It's like meeting, we used to say, like, well, I'm going to go back and see where I came from, see how it goes.
Yeah.
Because you have to face where you were and see how you hold your new self within the midst of your old realities.
Yes.
Another note about that, energetically, what's happening is we're actually projecting, because you are in a vibrational reality, creating it all the time. So you're vibrationally projecting your reality, and they're vibrationally projecting theirs. The remembrances of how you were are being projected at you.
Right.
So they're looking at you as if you were that person before, too.
Right.
All that's energetically happening. So you have to, if the more you know that, see, the easier it is to hold it, because then you literally bust the energetic threads. It's like frozen glass almost. It almost looks like reflecting threads. And you can literally, with your own energetics, when you see it, you bust it. Break it. Like, nope, I'm not playing in the projections. I'm connect. That's how we get into our tools. Connect to the God in my heart. You own your sovereignty, own where you're at, own where my energy is. And this is how I walk. This is how I show up. This is what I'm doing. And you're disallowing, you're actually counteracting the energetic projections that are always going to be happening with old friends, family, etc.
Sure.
And then it becomes your opportunity, whatever your thing is, whether it's people pleasing, whether it's like mine, hold
super
your tongue.
Truth.
Yeah, super truth. Hold your tongue. Don't be such a jerk, or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever your thing is, it's your opportunity to be the Buddha, or to hold the line. Like, okay, this time I get to see if I can be Jesus, be the Christ.
Yeah.
However you want to put that in your mind, it's to hold my energy and to be in love, to stay in my love. That's always what we're being tested on. How can I stay in my love? Oh, that pulled me out of my love. That made me feel something. Annoyance is also something. You're like, ugh. That's being pulled out of your love.
Yeah.
Simple. It's quick. Ugh. But you're out of your love. Annoyed, angry, upset, any of these discomforting feelings, anything that pulls us into a discomfort, lowering, I don't feel good, is a denser energy. Now, a step further than that, to why do we really want to think about all this so much, and what does it mean? Well, we're in a game, and this is a metaphoric. We're talking stories time again. So metaphorically, you're in a big game of power where everything's trying to siphon power from you, because in essence, we are all God divine beings, and God source energy lives within each and one of us. That which is separated from God has no life force energy. It is in essence like a mango that would like to stay a mango. It's service to self. It's like, I want to be a mango. I'm going to stay a mango. I'm going to be beautiful forever and shiny and so yummy. So, but I can't unless I eat from the tree. But I don't want you because I don't want to be part of the tree. But I'm going to eat you anyway, and I'm going to steal things from the tree so I can stay a beautiful mango, because I don't want to compost and go back to the tree of life. That's basically what separation is. So it's eating the tree. Okay. You were all the tree.
You lost me.
Did I lose you, really?
Yeah, you did.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh, if I lost you, I'm going to lose a lot of other people.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go back. Maybe that was too much. All right. So in essence, anything that's giving energy to a belief or a power is siphoning energy. It's like like your house. Back to the house. Okay, we're in a house. You think you don't have something plugged in, but if I'm doing a low level, I got to please people. I'm plugging into something that's my little USBs drawing a little bit of power out of my house. My electric bill is going up, but they're happy about that. The electric company's stoked, right? They're like, great, money's coming in. And that's kind of what I'm saying is we're plugging in the game of power is that we're plugging into little ideas, beliefs, thoughts where we might give power away that we don't need to give away. And that's what we're doing. And that's what I mean by siphoning. So we're shoring up any place where there's a hole so we aren't siphoning power to some idea or thought that is not serving us and is putting us in a lower frequency.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The frequency thing definitely speaks to me. Yeah, so when you were talking in the beginning about, and we should take a break in a minute, but I just want to bring this up. You were talking about masculine, feminine. We've been in this masculine place, and that's why there's been a lot of wars over time. One of the things that we've talked a lot about is language, and I've really been hearing. It just seems like excessive, but maybe it's just I'm on high. So much use of the word fighting cancer, fighting discrimination, fighting. This word is used, war terminology, to talk about our health, to talk about spirituality, to talk, which
is hilarious.
The spiritual warrior, like what? I get like that is like. So I bring that up because I do feel it's so important for all of us to remember the language, not just that we use, but that we hear. And when I hear somebody say, "Oh, there's this fight against drugs or fight against cancer," it's like I need to translate that in my head into a more positive way of thinking about that.
Absolutely, Eila. Yeah. Thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah.
And it's so true. We were talking about language last time, and we do often, in that what we're saying has power, that you are praying every time you are speaking, you're creating. So how many unconscious things we say just because they're handed down to us, but many of them are actually created. And I'm sorry to say, but there are beings out there who do have evil intentions. They aren't connected to God, and we all need to realize that so we could work together and stop fighting one another straight up, because there's some serious stuff going down.
Yeah, cooperation.
And I think now people are starting to see that some stuff's going down. I certainly hope so. But at any rate, not everyone's got the highest good for all beings going on out there. So stop buying the lies and look inside, and we get to stop listening to this tape by also using our breath. Things like saying, "I can't breathe," as a hashtag. Yeah. And as a symbol for freedom for a people is ridiculous. It's literally disempowering those people. That's built. That's created to disempower the people who buy it.
Yeah.
Things like what you just said, war on terrorism.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not going to help anybody.
Yeah.
So, we need to have a love for those that are harmed, love on drugs,
I was
like create it differently, because otherwise all you're doing, we are creating a vibrational reality, people, which means there's still nothing out there. So if you are creating inside your head, which is what's going on, you're creating it all. And then when you speak it, I have a fight on drugs. Well, fight shows up. You are the co-creator. We are all co-creating this. With our
and I hear it. I hear it so much with disease. Fighting this disease or that disease.
So stop fighting.
Yeah, no more fighting
more
disease.
Fighting.
You don't have to fight it. Love it.
Love.
If there's a disease growing around somebody, love it first, and then say, okay, now what do I need to do in addition to loving it? Oh, maybe I need to eat better. Maybe I need to surround myself with people who love me instead of people who are wishing me ill will,
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break.
Yes.
Hallelujah. All right, hold on a minute. I haven't done this in a while. Let's see if I can remember how.
Back in the station.
The Kohala Night Market returns with a midsummer blast on Wednesday, June 7th.
Welcome back. You're listening to KNKRLP 96.1 FM Kohala. It's 3:38 here, June 7th, 2023. Intuitive Talk Story with Eila Allgood and
Michál, Anna.
And we've been just chitty-chatting all the way here.
Woo, woo,
So
woo.
let's see. We left with
Words,
language, and
how we
where
talk.
do we want to go next?
Well, I think we should keep going there because really how we speak, how we frame things, and I get to learn this all the time too because I'm working on it all the time too.
Yeah.
How do we talk? How do we show up? How do I frame my words? Am I choosing the right words? We could all take a breath more. That's a good one for me. Take a breath. Speak what you want to say. Say what you mean what you say, right?
Right.
Those basic things. And then that kind of brings us into, and then take nothing personal. Because in conversation, often what trips us up is we take something personal.
Oh, yeah.
And that stops our conversations from going deeper or going beyond. And usually okay, whatever, see you later, gotta go.
Yeah.
Whatever might happen.
Yeah.
So if we can all make a commitment in ourselves, I'm going to choose to not take things personal, right? That offers me the opportunity to not go into reaction, stay in that neutrality, and get to a deeper place with another person and maybe learn something and understand something, because now I'm seeking to understand Eila and what she's saying instead of being closed. And I can hear her and then ask questions and speak my truth. Maybe like she just did to me. I said, do you want to know about blah, blah, blah? She goes, no, not really. Okay, great. I won't tell you. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay that we all have our truths. We all have but if we're honest and we don't take it personal, then we get to all be in our truth, right?
Yeah.
And it's safe, because it's like, I don't want to tell her. I don't want to know about it. Now she's afraid of hurting my feelings. That would be silly, and that might have been the old thing.
Right.
But it's like, I get to be safe in my truth. This is my truth. This is how I feel. And I honor it. Yay, that's great. I honor that truth. This is
Right, and you didn't take it personal.
Right.
You didn't say, oh, I can't believe she
I
doesn't
can't
want to
believe
hear
you
that.
don't want to know. No, instead it's like, whatever. That's your gig.
Right,
Okay,
we
cool.
move on.
Whatever your gig is. So see, that's us staying in our neutrality, which we want to do all the time, so we can get to deeper places and not have a reaction, and just honor, well, you're where you're at, I'm where I'm at, and we don't have the same reality. And I think in partnerships, I know we all think sometimes we're in the same reality.
Yeah.
You think, well, but you didn't see the thing on the corner? No, I didn't.
Yeah.
And we were laughing actually at that one of those yesterday. It was like grabbing, I don't know, an empty glass or something. And I used like the last tissue. I don't know. I used the last tissue or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, didn't you grab another one? I didn't even notice that I used the last tissue.
Right.
And if I would have been sitting in your chair, though, I would have noticed me using the last tissue.
Right.
And I would have thought, oh, he'll go get another one and refill it.
Yeah.
Or whatever, right? I would have thought the same thing as you are right now. But the truth is, I actually didn't even notice at all, and I didn't think of it at all. So that's a great example of why we shouldn't make any assumptions, because I didn't notice. But I can see why you would have noticed, because I would have also noticed from your
Right.
perspective.
Right.
So we can't assume things that seem like so, like, didn't you see that? No, I didn't this time.
That makes me think. We're talking about family. My brother's 3 years older than me, and we definitely grew up in this. Although we grew up in the same house with the same parents, it was a very different experience for both of us. And I would see things that my parents couldn't see about him. They would try to get him to do this or do that, to take out the garbage. You've said that 50 times and he still hasn't taken out the garbage. I'm 10 and I know that that's not working anymore.
Right.
Right. You might want to, I wish I could have said those things to my parents, like, you're banging your head against the wall. Get to know who he is. What would motivate him to take out the garbage other than you telling him to take out the garbage, And I think observing is very, very important in our day-to-day life. Either observing just ourselves with somebody or other people, just observing dynamics and oh, that doesn't work. She's saying that to him and he's like, they're on different planes. Yeah, and it's not good or bad. It's just an observation. And I take that as like information for my own journey in life, in my movie.
Yeah, me too. I do.
Yeah.
I do that a lot too.
Yeah.
Of course, so we have that similar thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if everyone does that, but I think the more you become aware of yourself, I think you more inherently are more observant of other like the programs you did operate. You can then see them in other people.
Yeah.
Like once you're like, oh, I feel like I'm worthy now. Oh gosh, I see all the energies of those that don't feel worthy. Because I remember I was that too. Like they're pieces of yourself, right? You can
Yes.
see it once you understand it. I remember once I'd gone through a little bit of abuse, I then could pick up on when other people were in abuse.
Yeah, well, and it's an energy, right?
It's an
It's
energy.
an energy field,
They're
so you could
energies.
feel that.
Right, and you can sense it. Oh, I
Yeah.
know that one. I know that guy.
Uh-huh.
So that kind of thing. So we learn, we understand things, and we can help others because we've had reflections. Like, right, I've been through that, so now I can help you through it, kind of thing. So that's
Right,
kind of
providing the other is interested in that kind of
whatever you've learned.
whatever.
Well,
Yeah.
whatever we've learned, we all are provided with the right people that are vibrate to us for whatever we have to share because we vibrate. So the
Right.
right people vibrate to you that need your energy
Yeah.
and vice versa.
Yeah.
Right. So that's
Yeah.
so cool. It works that way. You don't really have
It
to do
is.
anything. It just happens. So
Just pay attention.
just pay attention. Yeah.
Right.
Pay
Pay
attention.
attention and be aware.
Drop into what's happening. And like you said, get to know what's in front of you. Be curious. And we've talked a lot about that in the
Yeah.
past. Being curious versus reactive. Hey, what do you mean by that? Gosh, I don't understand that at all. Can you break it down?
And
Curiosity.
reducing the reactivity in my life has done wonders for my overall well-being.
Yeah.
It's much less
huge.
stressful when you don't react because when I react to somebody or something said, it causes a certain tension in my body. That's not a peaceful, graceful place. So as I work on whatever I'm reacting to and I'm reacting less, it's so much more peaceful for me. Nobody out there has a clue what's going on in me. Like I might not know what's going on in you, but I know I'm reacting to this and I don't like the way that feels. So I don't want to do that anymore. So what do I need to do to change that? So I think if we can all ask the questions to our higher self that knows everything, that's connected to all that is, well, why am I reacting to that? Can you help me? Like, help me out here. Help me get to the root of it because I don't want to I don't want to react to that.
Exactly. So these all go back to foundational tools that we talk about every time.
Yes.
But it really is why you're managing your energy, why you're doing meditation in the morning and in the evening to set your framework of how you want to move through your day, connecting to unity, intelligence, to source, going, this is where I want to navigate. Because if I'm not, I always said, I'm one of those people, if I wasn't with God, I'd be a mess.
No kidding.
I'm like, I would be such a screw up. Thank God I'm
Yeah.
with God. Because
Yeah.
I would be so screwed up otherwise. And I don't know if that's true for you, but it is. I'm one of those people that, gosh, I really need God. So I always
Yeah.
thought that since I was young, thank goodness I really love God, love source. And then I have a heart and faith for the infinite, for God's source energy. And I love the Lord, kind of, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so it's gotten me through everything, our love, right? So we go back to that. Go back to your love for the infinite, your love for source to move
that
through
knowing
and
that
surrender.
you're never alone and that if you need guidance, it's there. Just ask. It helps to ask for it.
We have to ask, in
Yeah.
fact, because nothing can help us if we don't. Back to we're co-creators. We have free will.
Right.
We're on our own little journey of remembering who you are and knowing that you're a child of God. That's kind of the whole goal and point of this gig is to remember, oh, right, I'm God's source energy. I love. Oh, that's right. Look at me. So we're all doing that, and we're all learning that we're all at different places within our long journey of that understanding and experiences, and there's no right way to have it. We're all having our
Right.
own vibrational movie, and that goes back to just honoring everyone's story. You don't know why that person's experiencing that. It doesn't mean maybe what you think it means, because maybe it would mean that in your story, but in their story it's something different.
Right.
You're not in the same vibrational story.
You have no idea.
You don't have the
Right.
same dictionary.
Yeah.
It doesn't A doesn't equal A. It
Yeah.
could be equal C in some other story. It's all different. So we refrain from, judgment, just again, to touch on that, goes away when you move out of, I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. Judgment really is attached to the wounding of I'm not enough, I'm not good enough. We judge.
Well, and
because
we're judging ourselves.
That's why.
Anytime we're judging others, it's because we are judging ourselves.
Which is because we still feel like I'm not
I'm
worthy,
not
I'm
enough.
not enough,
Right,
I'm not good enough.
right.
So I judge myself, therefore judging others.
Yeah.
Once I go, I'm enough, I'm not, and I'm enough, and I'm good enough, I no longer judge myself, which means I no longer judge you.
Yeah.
So that's how that gets
and
to
it's
work.
kind of effortless.
Right. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
So that's what's cool about all these things. You're not trying, well, I'm not going to judge.
Right.
No, it's if you heal and you begin to know I am enough and I am good enough and I'm loved and I'm valued. That's what you're actually focusing on. The judgment just slips away with the healing. So we're focusing always back to this words, language, and on what we want.
Right.
Not what we don't want. We don't
Right.
say, I don't want to judge.
Right.
That's not going to help me. Instead, I say, I walk in love.
Yeah.
Right? I can say that. That's an
Yes.
affirming of what I want. So
Yeah.
the universe doesn't hear your no. So when you are asking for things, you want to ask for the positive. Also current. Like, I am love, not I will be love.
Someday,
If you dug
when I'm
that up in
when
6
I'm
months,
110,
you're
I'll
still
be
going to be
love.
6 months away from being love. Right?
Yeah.
I am love now. I am it now. I choose love now. I this is my new way of showing up. I walk in my truth. I walk in my truth. That's what I do. I walk in my truth.
Yeah.
I speak my heart and my mind. Yeah. Just, and I love to add the silliness on the end.
Yeah.
And the kind of like laughter gig because it makes it fun for me and it helps me set it in because we're all grand actors in a great play of life. And so if we get silly with it and fun, it creates joy in my experience, which activates things more and helps me lift into higher vibrations more quickly.
Absolutely. Laughter definitely lifts the vibration. And, you're talking about prayer, and it's something that I certainly started a long time ago. And one of the things I learned in prayer for others, and this could be prayer or wishes for others, is I don't really have a whole lot I can do for somebody other than wishing them love. When I was a teenager, my parents broke up. I spent a year crying every night, praying for them to get back together. And then one day, I had this realization, maybe they're not supposed to be together. Why don't I just wish that they were happy? Is that what you want? You want them to be happy, right? Yeah. I want my mother to smile again. I want my father to smile. Yeah, I want them to be happy. And it lifted this burden that I thought I was carrying as an 18-year-old that, it was like, oh, I just want them to be happy. And it eased everything in my heart. And it's something that I've taken ever since. It's like, you just want somebody to be happy. You want them to experience love. That's a lot different than trying to control anyone's anything, including our own. I don't wish for specific, I want to do A, B, C, and D. I want to experience love. I am love. I am peace. I am grace.
In the earlier, I love this. We talked in the beginning, I was talking about wanting and desire
Yeah.
and surrender. And this brings that really up. Not of my will, but divine will.
Yeah.
It's not about what I want. What's in their highest good.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the highest good? So we surrender our wanting. I really want Eila to give me a hug right now, but maybe she doesn't want to, so
Right.
It's not about what I want. It's about because sometimes it comes down to that in partnerships and little things like that. You have all these little tiny desires that come in.
Yeah.
You can surrender them and go, you know what? It just is what it is. Thanks and praise. What's the highest good right now? Where's someone coming from? Maybe Eila can't give me a hug because she's sad about something else. She's in her own space. I got to honor that. It's not about me. She just can't be available for me right now because she's got something else going on.
Right.
So if we tune in, we understand that there's more happening in a situation versus what we're seeing on the outside. And we don't put our projection on that.
Right.
And instead we're able to see what it is and then walk into love and walk into our harmonious understanding as we surrender not what I want, my little I,
Yes.
but what the great I wants. That's why I and I. What
Yeah.
is I and I? The I of infinite source and the little I of my little ego personality. So the great I is what we surrender unto, for I and I are guided by source through the heart of God.
Yeah. And, breathing in love and, when we are experiencing someone who's going through something that, maybe they're not in the highest vibration at this moment. But if me personally, I stay in a place of love for self, love for other, love for life, it's only going to help that other person. It's only going to bring higher vibration to the area, the space, if there is any space between us, right? I mean, if I go into their darkness with them, I'm not really going to be helping them. If I wish them to be something other than where they are, I'm not going to be helping them. But if I can just love me and love other, that's it.
Right. And that, to kind of just one more point, expansion on that is like, we don't know why someone's experiencing something either. And, or death. Here's another thing.
Yeah.
The health. Everyone's on their own journey. We make agreements to come in, come out, to reincarnate, to go here, go there.
Right.
We all have agreements. And maybe it's not in my highest good to do whatever you think's in my highest good, or to be with whom I'm supposed to be with, or to leave the planet when you think I'm supposed to leave. Maybe that's actually positive. It's kind of like, how in everyone, when people, you said the breakup thing, and I like to think about it like this, like, how often people say, we broke up, or we parted. People say, oh, I'm so sorry. Why is that their first thing to say?
Yeah.
That's not it. It's their life and they did that. So that's probably what must be in their highest good. So, in your highest good, congratulations on your choices in your life.
Yeah, you're
Bless
going on
you.
another journey.
You're on your journey. Like, there's no sorry there.
Yeah.
Like, it's more like, oh, well, good for your choices. Are you happy? Like you said, are you happy with your choices? Yes, I'm in alignment with my choices. Great, bless you.
Yeah.
Like getting some more information before we make some blanket like, oh, so sorry.
Poor thing.
That's not helping me. And
Right.
this is also why we don't want to tell each other a bunch of, like, it's good, less is more. Because I don't need Eila think, so-and-so's, Susie Q's got JoJo's got a cough. JoJo's got a cough. We don't want to be thinking, have you heard about JoJo? He's got that cough. Oh, God, poor thing.
Yes.
That's not helping JoJo. So better that
Yeah.
nobody know about JoJo, because what we want to send JoJo is, hey, see JoJo healthy and feeling vibrant. I always see JoJo healthy and full of aliveness. He feels good now. We want to see that.
Well, and
how
yeah.
often we
Yeah.
don't help our friends by having these negative thoughts, or even just calling it like the kettle black in a way that isn't helpful. So less is more. Release all that and see everyone you love in their highest good. You can think of that as a great blanket phrase, because it kind of covers it. You don't have to know. I just see them the highest good. Whatever that's supposed to be.
Whatever that is.
I don't need to know.
I don't know what that is for you.
I don't even know.
I don't know what it is for me.
Yeah, just give
it's moment
thanks
to
and-
moment. It changes.
I just want that.
Yeah. No, somebody was talking to me about different people who have passed recently, crossed over to the other side. And there was a lot of angst with their tones. And I'm like, I don't know what that person's journey was supposed to be. I'm not here to say a poor thing, because maybe I don't know what they agreed to when they came in.
Right.
Maybe that
We
was
don't
part of
know.
their agreement, was to go out at 20 or 30 or 90, or I don't know. It's not for me to know. So just send them love.
Yeah.
On there, we'll go to
Love.
the light,
Love.
send them love.
So I kind of think like, we kind of simplify if you distill it all down, because I know we
gotta
gotta
stop,
and they're
yeah.
going to the night market, so you're going to join over there.
Yes,
come over
yes,
there.
the
But
night market.
Bottom line, bring it down to love. Love is our foundation, and if it's not of love, it's really not of source. So just if we can all just focus on love with one another, loving each other in the moment, being in our heart, staying in our love, gosh, I think we'll be all right.
I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, and together we get to co-create this beautiful reality. So thank you to all of you listening to us co-creating
Thank you, everybody.
this awesome reality. Together we rise and choose love.